Hey Ryan.
All right. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. A little sluggish, but hanging in there.
You feeling punchy or what?
I had karate today. I did not get punched or kicked in the face, but yeah, a little worn out.
Those bums.
Yeah. They fight like a 15-year-old who ought to be pumping gas in Jersey.
But you think everybody fight as bums?
Well, ain't they? Or you got heart, but you fight like a goddamn ape.
Apes are pretty tough there, Mick.
You got any good correspondence through?
No. So this is the second interview, or correction, this is the second podcast in a row that we've done together after my announcement about Bill Conti. I sent the publicist a message like just recently saying, hey, these are the days that I'm free. Now, she probably won't respond on the weekend because it was Friday night when I sent it. But I'm still hopeful. You can see my screen. You can see here, Kyle. Like, you can see. There it is. There's the correspondence. I mean, we're talking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You didn't get any fan correspondence?
Okay, so yes, we did. So before we start, we'll just start the show, I guess, officially. So here we go. Welcome everybody to, I don't know why I've ever done it that way. I've never done it that way before. Let me try that again. Welcome everyone to Going the Distance, the Rocky Series podcast. I am your host, Ryan, and with me today, again, I think this is the third or fourth episode in a row, Kyle, but Kyle is guest hosting again, filling in for Ruben, Ruben is celebrating his anniversary with his lovely wife, so he would rather spend some time in a house of ill repute with his wife.
Well, Ryan, the reason I asked if we got any mail is because I got some correspondence regarding my frequent guest hosting.
What? From who? How? What?
Well, I don't know. It's anonymous guy. Seems to think that I've taken over, but that I'm a paper co-host. They didn't beat Ruben. He wants me to fight or something.
Okay.
Teacher against student, old co-host against young guest host. That's the only way you're ever going to get peace of mind. The press will hound you with this man's, I guess, Ruben's legend for as long as you podcast. You got to get him in the ring, or you're going to keep hearing questions like that. You got to ask yourself, could I take him? Am I good enough? Do people really think I'm a carbon copy or a second-rate pretender who only got a shot because of my skin tone? You got to challenge this man, Kyle. You got to challenge Ruben. And if he refuses, you got to insult him, you got to dog him, you got to humiliate him, you got to do whatever it takes to get him into the ring, but that's what you got to do. Wow. I don't understand what's going on. I'm just a lowly guest host. I'm not replacing Ruben. Ruben, he can take over whenever he wants. I just don't get it. You just can't keep people happy, I guess.
Well, I don't know who wrote that to you. What were the initials? Were the initials GWD or?
It just said the Duke. So maybe it's him. I don't know.
Just as the Duke, eh? It might be him. It might be the Duke.
I was hoping it wasn't you trying to cause a fight between him and I for your own publicity for the podcast. You know what I mean? Like, right. I thought we were doing this in good faith, Ryan, and I'm starting to think you might be trying to take advantage of the situation, and all this training that I've done is gone for naught.
Kyle, we just got an email from Ruben at you as well. It seems like you're causing a lot of waves here.
I guess, yeah.
Ruben just sent me an email, and he wants me to read this to you. Are you sitting down?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
He says, Kyle, took you long enough to get here. Took you 10 guest hosting episodes to come into my podcast. Huh? What's the matter? You don't like my podcast? Does my podcast stink? That's right, it stinks, says Ruben. I don't ask no favors from you. Don't slum around me. Talking about your prime. What about my prime? Kyle, at least you had a prime. Ruben didn't have no prime. Nothing. His legs are going. He had cancer and tumor and everything was going. Kyle comes up, offers me to guest host on a podcast. Big deal. You want to podcast a big podcast? Yeah, I'll podcast a big podcast. And you know what's going to happen to me, says Ruben? I'm going to get that. He just punched himself in the face, apparently. And I'm going to get that. And he just punched a hole in the wall, Kyle. And you want to be a guest host with Ryan and see it, do you? You want to help me out, says Ruben. Huh? He says again that his legs aren't working. Nothing's working. You come around here, Kyle. You want to move in here with Ryan? Come on in. It's a nice podcast. Real nice. Come on in, Kyle. It stinks. This whole podcast stinks. You want to help me out, says Ruben. Well, help me out, Kyle. Come on. Help me out. I'm standing here. And that was the end of the letter. Or the email.
Ryan, this level of contention is unprecedented for the Going the Distance podcast.
Yeah, this is
a podcast. Someone behind the scenes is pulling the strings.
Yeah, I think somebody's trying to get you and Ruben into the ring together.
Yeah, this is bizarre. I have nothing but respect for Ruben. He's the man. He is the true co-host. I ain't nothing. I'm a ham and egger. I don't get this. This is crazy.
All right, well, Kyle, I think we're just going to have to leave it at that. I'm going to have to talk to Ruben, make sure he's okay. And I feel really bad that listeners and Ruben have really been upset about your presence as a guest host. But regardless, we have to push forward. We have to push forward and talk about Rocky
Okay,
V.
well, just send Ruben my best, okay?
Kyle, I've been podcasting for 3 years. Did you ever send me your best, huh? Did you ever send me your best?
Take it easy, Ryan.
All right. Oh, that's good. Okay, so here we go, Kyle. We're going to continue with Rocky V. Our last episode, we ended with Tommy being shown literally the keys to the kingdom in this nice, beautiful house. And we'll just play this part again because the montage ends shortly after this. But let's go into, again, just for our listeners, kind of a recap. Tommy is shown this beautiful house, and the Duke tells him basically, if you hang out with the Duke, you're going to get all these riches and glory. Just stick around with the Duke.
Where is this house? Whose house is this? Is Duke from Philadelphia? Where did he take Tommy far away to where this house is? Did they just say, hey, guy, I need to borrow your house for a minute to schmooze Tommy? Like, what's going on?
It could very well be all those things. It could be like a guest house for celebrities or up-and-comers because Duke gives him the keys, literally, to the kingdom. Or the house.
Tommy gun at the top. You come with the Duke, you can get the kind of payday fights Balboa could only dream about. To the victor goes spoil.
The Duke says you're going to get the payday that only Balboa could dream of. Now, there's two things that Duke is wrong about this. Number one, maybe he's talking about now, maybe, but keep in mind, Rocky can dream about these kind of riches because he did have them just like a year ago. And two, his best friend Apollo had even more than Rocky did. So Rocky can dream and fathom about what riches are available to boxers.
Yeah, that is an odd comment. Like maybe it's the potential purse for this fight is larger than ones Rocky would have earned. Rocky was in the game for quite a while, and Rocky also did a ton of commercials and other things that probably got him a ton of money. So yeah, saying that this one fight is going to somehow catapult Tommy into this elite level of wealth he's just pulling the wool over his eyes.
Right. Tell me if I'm wrong here, Kyle. You know a little bit about the real world of boxing more than I do. A challenger whose first time challenge of a belt, usually it's not a big payday for the challenger, is it?
Usually the champ would earn more. It depends on the fight. Typically, if you're a lesser-known fighter or a challenger, then you're not going to get the same as the champ's getting. If it's a fight where two are both really established boxers, and maybe one's like an ex-champion or something, then you could get the same amount. I doubt Tommy would make as much as whoever he's fighting.
Okay. Or the idea Duke is just saying, like, if you come with me, become champ, these things are going to be coming to you and more than you could ever imagine. And Sherry the bimbo, who's come along for this showing of the house, she seems to be quite on board with the rise of Tommy.
Well, yeah, because that's her payday in essence. She's like a parasite. It just drains off them, right?
We talked about this, but she legitimately is getting paid to be with Tommy in every way, shape, and form.
To weaken Tommy's legs.
Oh, yeah. She's nothing to sneeze at either. She's quite attractive.
I would not have turned her down under different circumstances, that's for sure.
Right. In an alternate universe, had we been young and single and she was thrown in our lap, I don't think we would...
I would take that deal all day.
Yeah. Just about near the last fight of this second R&B montage of Rocky V, and it looks like in this fight that's coming up, Kyle, that this is kind of Tommy's hardest fight before the Union Cane fight. It seems like this opponent's giving Because, we're kind of like moving up in the levels of a video game, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's in Caesar's Palace, too.
Hey, man, now am I going to get a shot at the title?
Yeah, you're going to get one real soon. Hey, baby, hey.
The winner at 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
When's Tommy going up against Union King?
We got to talk about
How does it feel to be a
Tommy's knocked out this guy in 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Rocky says, hey, great job, kid. We beat this guy. And right away, Tommy says, okay, great, but when are we going to fight Union King? The reporters are asking Rocky the same question. When is he going to fight Union King? And Rocky's like, okay, we'll talk about it, kid. We're going to talk about it. So it seems to be on the media's mind, on Tommy's mind. Why is Rocky being hesitant? At this point, Kyle, what would be his reasons of being hesitant?
Good question. Generally, you don't want someone moving up too fast and then fighting the champ when they're really inexperienced and not ready for it. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I could think of. Now, Union Kane doesn't seem to be that formidable of an opponent, so maybe he seems more formidable than he actually is. I think Rocky's just being patient and taking it slow because, it's kind of like that, right? When you have like a younger person and they're ambitious and they want to just take the world by storm right now, and they don't want to be patient, and they don't want to wait. And then you kind of have the older, more experienced person that doesn't have that same impatience with them, and so they're gonna just take things one step at a time, take it slow, be ready. And so when you do finally get that fight with the champ, you're going to be at the level where you could win that fight, and then you could be the kind of champion that could defend that title multiple times.
Right, so his hesitation might be that he really is trying to protect Tommy, not getting him there too fast, despite his talent and ability.
Yeah, an alternate theory might be, and I don't actually believe this one, but you could just say as an alternate theory that Rocky maybe is jealous of Tommy's success and wishes he could be in the ring. Seeing Tommy become the champ, maybe, there's a conflict within Rocky there, but I honestly don't think Rocky thinks that way. I think it's more likely that he just wants to make sure Tommy's ready.
Sure. Okay. Paulie jumps in the ring, and he's about to tell Rocky that the ship has sunk.
When's Tommy going up against Union King?
We got to talk about
How does it feel to be a
Will you? Rocco, you ain't worked it, buddy.
He fought a great fight, Paulie.
The ship is sunk, Rocco. It's sunk.
Now, Paulie gets really kind of gangster talk. It's sunk. It's sunk. Paulie's referring to, for our listeners, Paulie's referring to the fact that Tommy, after talking to Rocky very briefly there, ran over to the ringside, hey, baby, ran to his girlfriend, who is, I think her name is Sherry in the movie. So he went to see his girlfriend, there's nothing wrong with going to see your girlfriend. I mean, Rocky certainly saw his girlfriend after fights. So Tommy went over to go see his girlfriend, and Duke's there as well, laughing and smiling and very happy for Tommy's success. So at this point, again, why Paulie's so upset about, so we know what Duke represents. We get it. But has Duke really done anything that they're aware of that would be nefarious?
I think the fact that Duke is trying to get Rocky into the ring when it would probably kill him makes the whole family not like Duke.
Okay.
Adrian certainly sees him for who he is.
Right.
And maybe she's spoken with Paulie about it. But I think Paulie has a pretty good sense of how things work in that way. I think you could just tell with some people. Some people are better at reading people than others, and although Paulie has no social skills whatsoever, I think he is actually pretty good at spotting BS, and I think he sees Duke as a snake. And he sees Duke is moved in, and he sees the young woman there who is Tommy's enamored with, and he's put two and two together, and he knows Duke's got him now.
All right, the next scene, it looks like it's Christmas time. I don't know if it's actually Christmas Day, but we got an outside of the Balboa residence, the Balboa/Paulie residence. Kids are riding their bikes, so if it's Christmas to Philly, it's not snowing. It looks like a nice, clear, dry day, or nighttime.
Yeah. I don't know what weather in Philadelphia is like. You'd think if being close to the coast, you'd get a lot of snow, but
I think East Coast, generally, I think Philly probably has some pretty cold winters. I would suspect it's not warm there. But it doesn't mean it has to snow in every Christmas time.
Yeah, that's true.
Then we have a shot of them watching TV, and they're watching the classic Christmas Vacation. Now, this is interesting because Christmas Vacation, when did it come out?
I think it was like 86 or 87.
No, it was later than that. Christmas Vacation came out a year before this film.
Oh, in 1989?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's already on cable TV, which actually doesn't make sense. So
No.
especially back then, Kyle, because right now it's still making mega bucks at the video store for rentals.
Release date December 1, 89.
Yeah.
And so this would be Rocky fights Drago in Christmas of 85. And then we go through the time warp. It's presumably the same time of year, but just 4 years later. So it's 89. Yeah, okay, yeah. Christmas 1990. So yeah, it'd be 1 year after that.
So the fact that it's on TV on their local, and they don't have high-end cable, the Balboas.
Unlikely. Although, I'm wondering how much money is Rocky making with Tommy? Because Rocky gets a cut of Tommy's earnings, right?
Sure.
I think once you're in the higher level of boxing, you might not necessarily make gigantic paydays. Making $100,000 in a fight or something like that isn't totally unreasonable.
Well, what I find interesting is not only are they're watching this, but in real world, the company that distributed this film was Warner Brothers, which has absolutely no affiliation with the Rocky franchise. So I wonder, the discussion was to show this film on this film. Like, I know it happens in films, but usually there must have been some sort of payout.
It's also free advertising for that film.
Yeah, that could just be all it is. So it's the scene in the movie Christmas Vacation where Clark Griswold is having a hard time with the Christmas decorations on the front lawn, and he's kicking the crap out of the reindeer decoration.
Good times.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. I watch it every year.
Yeah, Christmas Vacation is one of those movies, traditionally for me, I had to watch near Christmas, but it had to kind of just appear while I was flipping channels. I couldn't, find when it was coming on and then plan to watch it. It had to be like an impromptu watch. Like, oh, great, Christmas Vacation's on, I'm going to watch this. And then I really enjoyed it. That and Home Alone I have to watch.
Yeah, for sure. So now we see the Balboas. Rocky's wearing his famous gray turtleneck Christmas sweater. Mrs. Balboa, is playing the matronly type, trying to keep the spirit of Christmas alive in their home. Because, a year ago at this time, they were in a mansion. Robert is sitting at the table, a small little table, almost like by himself, munching on a candy cane, and his girlfriend's on the floor next to Chicky and Chicky's pal. They're all there eating popcorn and drinking punch, watching this show together. So now they're old friends. After that fight, this is the next scene we see them together. They're spending Christmas together. They went from playground opponents to now they have Christmas Vacation together.
I was thinking that earlier because I knew this was going to happen, of course. It's actually not too unreasonable, I think. If you think back to when you were a kid, and it's like you could be in a fist fight with someone. Like I remember in 9th grade, I got in a fist fight with a guy. We were at the same high school a year later, and we were fine.
Right.
Like we were best buds or anything, but a fight's not a deal breaker in terms of a potential friendship. If you get past that, yeah, I could see them becoming friends after finding something in common. There's now mutual type of respect, or I don't know how mutual, but he would at least respect Robert.
Yeah, so Rocky's on the phone. It looks like he's trying to call Tommy, and he thinks Tommy's late. So Tommy has been invited to this little Christmas get-together. So the kids are watching Christmas Vacation. Adrian's hanging up Christmas decorations, and Rocky's trying to get a hold of Tommy, and he's just playing his typical type of... I think Rocky knows something's going on, but he always just doesn't quite admit what's going on.
Probably got hung up in traffic. Adrian should have been here by now.
Why?
Why? It's Christmas time. He should be here with his family,
Well, maybe he doesn't think this is his family.
Sure it is.
So he says that, Tommy's probably just hung up in traffic. He goes, well, he should be hanging out with us because we're like family to him. And Adrian goes, well, maybe he doesn't think this is his family. And I know Adrian doesn't think it's Tommy his family.
You wonder how much Tommy's been around lately in the last few months, other than training. He's probably going to more parties, hanging out with his girlfriend. He's probably not bringing what's-her-face down to the basement, if you know what I mean.
Oh, no, he's got that new house.
Oh yes, because Duke moved him in. But even prior to that, right?
Yeah, who knows where they were.
He's probably not bringing her around.
Well, maybe he's using Paulie's bed and not changing the sheets.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why Paulie knows. He's seen the evidence. He's like, yeah, we're done.
Paulie probably hides in the closet and watches.
I could see Paulie doing that.
Rocky's still on the phone trying to get a hold of Tommy, and Adrian's like, well, I don't think he thinks we're his family.
Why? It's Christmas time. He should be here with his family, you know.
Well, maybe he doesn't think this is his family.
Sure it is. Yo, Adrian, look. Just look at this. I want to give this to him. What do you think?
I think you've given enough.
Hey, come on, Adrian. He's giving us some things, too, you know. He's giving us, like, a second shot, right? Come on, it's Christmas.
Okay, so this is a really kind of a heartbreaking scene, and it actually just shows you just how, I don't know how to say this, how, I don't want to say dumb, but just how clueless Rocky is. So the setup is, he's showing Adrian, look, I've got a present for Tommy, and the present that he has is the cufflink that Mickey gave him, that was given to Mickey by Rocky Marciano. This was the most treasured thing that Mickey ever had. Gave it to Rocky because Rocky was the most treasured thing that Mickey had in his life. And now here's his son 2 feet away, seeing that this cufflink, this precious cufflink, and all the sentimental value that it has to Rocky is going to be given to Tommy, who they've known for whatever amount of time this movie has shown us. We're not too sure, but we just know that Tommy's not the son. Well, thoughts on this gift that Rocky's going to give Tommy?
Yeah. This is the kind of stuff that could cause permanent damage to a relationship. The feeling getting rejected like that, like when your dad gives something that's like, for all intents and purposes, a family heirloom to some guy who just showed up recently and is totally interested in him and not you. The sense of rejection and resentment you would feel. No home team speech later is going to fix that shit.
Yeah, you spoke very truly there, Kyle, that this does ring. We talked about it in our last episode, and I guess it's going to come up a few times, but the damage that's done to Robert in this film, it lasts until the end of Creed Part 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really does. Even though they have a moment at the end of this film where they make amends, they have a moment at the end of Part 6 where the characters make amends, but we see that the effects of this strained relationship never quite heals. We get the sense that that healing does take place at the end of Part 2. Of Creed Part 2.
Like, I got legitimately emotional at the end of Creed 2 in that scene.
Oh,
like
yes.
When he meets his grandson for the first time and stuff. Like, I got pretty choked up there. And I'm not one to get easily choked up at stuff. But, like, I guess I could kind of, like, being a dad and stuff like that has kind of changed my perspective a little bit, too. And so...
Sure.
Yeah. Funny, viewing this film as a father, when you watch this film as a kid, you could easily see from Robert's perspective why he'd feel that way, and you still can. But then it's like, as a father, you watch this, and you see the Rocky character, and you're like, what the hell are you doing? Like, are you insane?
Sure. Yeah. Rocky's a little bit clueless. Okay, so Robert, he's not clueless. He caught the whole conversation, and he looks like he's ready to shove that candy cane into his father's face.
Luckily, he hasn't sharpened it too much, because you can get a candy cane to be pretty sharp.
You can get... I have cut myself on a candy cane before.
Yeah, those things are deadly.
So the next scene is very well-to-do, rich party. It looks like Tommy's almost wearing the same kind of sweater that Rocky's wearing.
Yeah! I was thinking that. I think, man, maybe I'm not remembering it right. I think Stallone's sweater has horizontal pattern, and Tommy's is a vertical pattern. But it seems to be made of the same material.
Right.
And it's the same color. And yeah, it's a very similar sweater.
And Tommy has his hair mulleted out nice and fluffy for this get-together.
You see Tommy's underdressed here, huh?
You know, you can take the farm boy off the farm, but you can't take the farm out of the farm boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Only in America.
So Duke says, that's right, only in America. What he's laughing and referring to, I have no idea, but only in America.
Yeah, there's only rich people in America, you know that, right?
That's right.
Oh, having the best, wearing the best. But to keep it up, you got to stay on top.
So having the best, he says, and wearing the best. So yeah, that is crazy, Kyle. Tommy's wearing the same turtleneck gray sweater that Rocky's wearing.
Is it the same? But it's very similar.
Why is that?
Maybe Rocky has a couple of those and loaned it out to Tommy. Like,
maybe
he's giving him everything else. So maybe the wardrobe people just got lazy, and then these scenes were done far apart in actuality. I don't know.
Duke says, only in America, the rich are having a good time and all that good stuff. They're at a fancy party. But he says, but to keep it up, you got to stay on top.
Nobody remembers number 2, kiddo.
Whoa.
Yeah. So we just got Merlin.
Well, okay, I just heard that she's what's her face, the redhead. That's what I'm going to call her now. I can't remember her name.
I think it's Sherry.
Okay, Sherry. Because Duke just said, you got to stay on top. Nobody remembers number 2. And then she says, I sure don't. To unpack what that means, I guess that could mean she doesn't remember the previous people she's been with and she just is thinking about him. But it's also kind of like an implicit threat where,
right? Look,
Tommy, if you're not number 1, I'm out of here. Like, I'm not sticking around with you if you're like some loser.
Oh, I think she's making it very clear.
Yeah.
George is about to go into this and say, now, Tommy, I've checked with the boxing commission.
Tommy, check with the boxing commission. Seems there's no formal contract between you and Balboa.
No, nothing. Just a handshake.
Tommy, this is a complex business and you got to stay sharp. Well, I don't have to tell you that, do I? Because it got to be damn difficult you living in Rocky's shadow, people calling you his puppet.
I don't know anybody who could have done it as long as you have.
Tommy, I'm afraid. I'm afraid that if you keep going the way you're going, you're going to be watching the parade go by.
Exactly.
Tommy, you haven't had the big payday yet, and you won't until you fight those top contenders, and those top contenders, Tommy, boy, I do surely own.
A lot to take in here. So Duke is selling pretty easily to Tommy what Tommy already wants is a chance to fight the champ. Duke also says here that the only way to get to the champ is to fight top contenders. Has he not done that yet with Caesar's Palace and Madison Square Garden?
Well, there's always lots of top contenders. I don't know who exactly he's fought. Like, maybe Tommy's ranked 7th now or something.
Duke says here, those top contenders, I do surely own.
I guess what he's saying is he has contracts with them.
So he can get these fights to happen quicker?
That's one part of boxing I'm not... Well, there's lots of parts of boxing I'm not super familiar with, and that's one of them. It can be really difficult to get certain people to fight each other because of contractual obligations they have with their various promoters. It's just a lot of red tape in order to make that fight really happen. And so I think what Duke is saying here is you're not up that high enough where you could just fight whoever. I could block you, essentially. If you want to start climbing the ladder right up to the top, I could make that difficult, if not impossible, for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he was also very skillful in the way he said the parade is going by.
Yeah.
Because that is a very easy thing to feel. Especially when you're young, that all these opportunities are going by, right? Essentially, which is laughable when, you're 19 or 20 years old and you have pretty much your whole life ahead of you, right? But it feels like you don't. Like, it feels like that it's do or die right now.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, so he's selling it good. This whole time, Tommy's girlfriend is rubbing his arm,
Off the record, Ryan.
Yes.
Those have to be implants.
For the record, it matters not. Yeah, she really does bust out. It's funny, this film, between Robert's drawing of Madame Dupont and Tommy's girlfriend, it really does warrant the PG-13.
Yeah, this is by far the seediest Rocky film ever made.
It's seedier than the back alley of Tough Jim from Apollo Creed's gym in Rocky 3.
Yeah. It has a dark little twist to it for sure.
Oh yeah, so Duke says right there, I've got the contracts.
I got the contracts. It's a complex business. But if you want the best, then go with the best.
I mean, what about Rocky, though?
Rocky can still train you. My God, he's done a wonderful job. Now, look, here's $20,000.
We have a big sell here, Kyle, that he's just offered Tommy, one, $20,000 cash, just hands it to him, or a check, and two, that he can keep Rocky as a trainer, because Tommy goes, well, what about Rocky? We're kicking him to the curb, and George's like, oh, no, of course not. Now, does he know that Rocky won't stick around?
Probably assumes that. In his mind, he's like, okay, look, as long as I get the contract for Tommy, then if Rocky stays on, great. If he doesn't, even better. But he knows eventually Rocky has to leave because his ultimate goal is to get him and Rocky to fight each other. So I don't think realistically you'd fight your trainer. Like, you kind of have to be split up then. And I'm also curious about this $20,000, what strings are attached to it. He seems he's just giving it as a Christmas gift.
That's exactly what it looks like. Now, $20,000 1990. Let's see, rate, exchange.
That'd be about $35,000 now.
Oh, good guess. I mean, let's see if you're right. I love doing these inflation stuff.
Yeah, I know, it's the best.
Okay, so $99 in 2019, so the amount is $20,000. Oh, what did you guess?
I guess $35,000.
Pretty darn close, $39,000.
39. Okay, so almost double.
So almost 40,000. Can you imagine, Kyle, getting, here's 40 grand, hire me as your agent, keep Rocky as your trainer, let's catch this parade.
Yeah, especially like if you never have any money.
Sure.
All of a sudden, and then you're young. That happens all the time with pro athletes. The mentality a lot of athletes have, the fact that they're so young, and the fact that a lot of them, although not all, come from either normal or low-income backgrounds. You all of a sudden throw a bunch of cash at someone in that circumstance, they almost always blow it.
Right.
Because they simply do not know how to handle that amount of money. They spend it like you or I would spend a normal paycheck. Right? When in reality, with pro sports, not a lot of people do it consistently for decades like you would a normal job, right? For the NFL, for example, like I think the average duration in the NFL is only a couple of years. Like, it's very short. Don't spend like you're making that every year, because you're not. Like, you should be saving most of that money. But a lot of these young guys with their backgrounds aren't going to do that. And Tommy's no different.
No, you're absolutely right. Let's see what his answer to this payday is.
Rocky can still train you. My God, he's done a wonderful job. Now, look here. Here's $20,000. Take it as an advance.
So it's an advance, says Duke.
Ooh, that's interesting language. Because an advance implies that it's against something he has to earn through a contract.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
That'd be like if I went somewhere where I wanted to work, or say even didn't want to work, and then they said, here's an advance on your next paycheck. And then it's, what paycheck? We don't have an agreement. If you take that, you're basically agreeing that you're going to work there, or else that's now a loan.
Right. Yeah, advance. So there you go. Nothing's free. That's his pound of flesh. So now the next scene cuts to...
Time to put some hustle behind this muscle. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
After Tommy takes the check in his hand and everyone wishes each other at that party Merry Christmas, Rocky comes running down the stairs of their little apartment and says, "Yo, Adrian, I can't believe it. Who just come up on the roof?"
Whoa, stop the press, yo, Adrian. I can't believe it. We just come up on the roof. Will you? And, you know, he just landed there and crashed. And who do you think it is?
Do I hear reindeer on my roof?
You know, Rattlers, unbelievable. It's like a billion. Whoa, come on.
It's funny, in this scene, Jewel here looks so bored.
Oh, yeah. It's so cute, though. Adrian playing along, do I hear reindeer on my roof? Like, it's cute. Because I have a 12-year-old son, which is about the same age as Robert in this film. If I did this with my wife, he would think we're dorks, but he wouldn't be angry by it. They'd like, oh, my parents are dorks, but they'd kind of still enjoy the scene. They would still enjoy the whole process of just being silly.
Well, also, your friends are there, right? Even if you secretly kind of like it, there's no way you could show that, just in case your friends think you're part of this nonsense, right? Like, you gotta be too cool for school around the friends.
I think most kids would just still kind of have fun with it, but right now, Robert just isn't having anything to do with his dad.
Most kids would just be like, ha ha ha, whatever, but they wouldn't be hostile towards it for sure.
No.
Is this actually Christmas Eve, or like, do we know what day this is?
I would say it's Christmas Eve or the 23rd, like something very close to Christmas, because gifts are being exchanged. There's it's a Christmas party that's being held at some sort of office there with the Duke and Tommy. So maybe like the 22nd, 21st.
These kids, I wonder if their homes suck, right? Because they're guests at the Balboas. But it's normally, if it's Christmas Eve, you're at your own family's house.
And that could be why there's the reindeer on the roof, but still, because they all know Santa's not real, they can kind of celebrate the Santa idea whenever they want anyways.
Because we talked about maybe Chip or whatever his name is comes from a bad home.
Right.
Or some of these kids come from bad homes. And so normally if you have a good home and it's Christmas Eve, you're there. You see your family or like there's like alcoholism or something like that. Then it's, yeah, okay, well, let's go to someone's house where it's not all messed up.
No, that's right. Good point, too. So the kids aren't having anything to do with this. They think, oh my gosh, Robert, your dad and mom are dorks. I think they think that the friends are kind of more like, they're dorks, but Robert's just not happy.
You know, Rattlers and Unbelievable is like $1 billion.
He called them rantlers.
Yeah, and Rocky is kind of more in the full R word as someone is described in this movie in general compared to other movies.
Right.
I wonder how weird it is for these kids, too, because even though the Balboas have financially fallen quite a bit, Rocky was a major worldwide celebrity for like a decade or more. And then you're all of a sudden hanging out with them in their house. It's like, imagine if you were like at Mike Tyson's place or something like that. Like, that would be weird. But also kind of cool. But then you see them acting all goofy and weird like this. Like, I wonder if the Rocky they see is the Rocky the person they assumed he was while they were growing up.
What do they say? Never meet your heroes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Whoa! Come on! Look who's here! You know this guy?
You got a weird family. Don't I know?
It's gonna be next Christmas before he gets down. Hey, put it together for Santa! Hey!
Merry Xmas, yo, yo, yo.
Hey, I don't think you got it right, Santa. No. It's ho, ho, ho.
So it's a classic Paulie. I mean, it's amazing that the whole franchise has come to this point where yo is used throughout the whole movies, all the movies from Rocky, yo Adrian, I did it. And I love how it's a Christmas setting, and it's Paulie, and he says, Merry Xmas. He can't even say Christmas. He actually has to say Xmas. Yo, yo, yo.
Yeah, his enthusiasm is questionable. And I love how Jewel there said he has a weird family.
And then Robert with the, don't I know? Okay,
that's like the perfect response, though, actually.
So Rocky's now correcting Santa. No, it's ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho.
What's the freaking difference? Where I come from is yo, yo, yo.
Oh, looks like we got a 90-proof Santa.
That's actually one of the best lines.
Yeah, good old Chip. He's
Chicky.
an okay kid now.
Chicky.
Or Chicky, sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah, so Chicky, the 90-proof Santa. Another jab at Paulie's alcoholism.
I'm sure Paulie's one of those guys who always smells like booze.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Maybe.
He probably got a whiff of Paulie coming downstairs.
So they got gifts for the kids. So Rocky's like, hey, Santa, tell the kids what you got in the bag for them.
Hey, Santa, tell all the kids what you got in the bag for them that you brought from the north.
I got my laundry.
No, you got the wrong bag.
Come on, Chubby, get out of the way.
Yeah, watch it.
Let Santa take a seat.
So he just called Chicky's pal Chubby. Come on, Chubby, get out of the way. Now, this is the kind of stuff you can't say anymore to kids.
Yeah, can't verbally abuse the kids no more.
No. So it's amazing that he's actually got gifts. I wonder what the Balboas bought these kids. Let's check it out.
Come here, little boy. You been nice?
Uncle Paulie!
Come over here. Sit down.
Hey, kid, why don't you tell Santa what you need,
Stretching the clothes, man. I don't need nothing.
So all of a sudden, Robert's starting to kind of talk like tough, like kind of gangster tough here. And he's also got this earring on his ear. Did you catch that?
I knew he had the earring later, the thing, but I didn't see it in this particular scene. His manner of speaking has changed significantly because he would have gone to the best schools before. He would have known how to speak well. And just to reference the Creed movie, actually, if you recall when Adonis first meets Rocky, Rocky says to him, look, I could tell by just the way you're speaking to me that you've had some education.
Right.
Right? And Rocky knows he can't speak that way. And Robert can speak that way, but is choosing not to. He's choosing to blend in with his friends and speak the way they do in the neighborhood. Like, I don't need nothing, right? Like, that's bad English. But that is the way people would speak.
Yeah. So we actually never find out what Paulie has in the bag, I don't think. And it does actually look like his laundry.
Yeah.
I think it is Paulie's laundry.
Come on, hey, kid, tell Santa what you really want. Come on.
That ain't Santa. It's Uncle Paulie. Let's get real.
What do you mean, get real? You know, why you talking like that? We're just trying to have a good time when Santa's here and everything. And...
It's stupid.
Obviously, we all know it's not Santa, Robert.
Yeah, look, buddy. It's called pretend.
So even Rocky's like, dude, we know it's Uncle Paulie, but we're just trying to have fun as a family. And it was really sweet when Adrian put her head on Rocky's shoulder there before Robert's outburst.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And it's a real sweet moment. Of course, now Robert's got to blow it all.
Yo, come on, it ain't stupid. We're just trying to pretend here. But you see, you're supposed to be pretending. It's like this game, right?
I don't like pretending. Why don't you guys talk to Santa?
Hey, okay, I ain't talking to them. I'm talking with you here. See, it's very important that you spend time with the family, and have a good time and just getting the spirit going. It's good, right?
Good for what? Come on, let's go.
So Rocky's really kind of setting himself up here for an outburst from his son because he just finished saying it's important to spend time with your family.
Yeah, you really are in no position to give your kid a guilt trip when you've been neglecting him for months, if not years, to train Tommy, right? Not only is he training with Tommy every day, but a lot of these fights are on the road. Like you're Madison Square Garden or you're out in Las Vegas. Like he's probably gone for many days or even weeks at a time. So yeah, he's in no position to say you got to spend time with the family. Like you could argue for Rocky, it's like he's providing for his family because I'm no doubt he gets paid to do these gigs. But yeah, still having Tommy in the house, giving Tommy his room. Robert doesn't even live in that house now that I think about it. So it's like you've kicked a guy out of your house and you're spending time with this random guy you met less than a year ago.
Yeah.
And you're just talked about giving him an important present no more than 5 minutes ago. Like the cufflink thing on the chain. He's probably going to give Robert some bullshit present. Then gives him a lecture about how he needs to spend time with the family. Man, if I was Robert, I'd be pissed. I would leave too. He's totally justified.
Right. Yeah, and here we go. Here comes the blowout.
His friends are here. Maybe he doesn't want to.
Adrian, I know what he wants.
How do you know what I want?
Because I know you.
You know me? He thinks he knows me. Look, I ain't celebrating nothing, okay?
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, yo, come here. What's the matter with you? We always done this before. We always had a good time, Adrian. We don't have to change nothing, never. I mean, do you remember last year when we had fun, when we had a good time?
It ain't last year, and you ain't the same either.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in someone's house when they get in a huge fight with their parents? And how weird that is and awkward.
I can't seem to recall a specific incident, but I feel like I've known this awkwardness before.
Yeah, oh man. I can remember a few times when I was at one of my friend's houses and him and his dad just got into it and some heavy stuff was said. Like some really, like it was a brutal fight and you're just kind of standing there and you don't know what to say or what to do. And
Right. No. Awkward.
So yeah, I feel a little sorry for Robert's friends there that they had to witness all this.
Oh, they left. They left pretty quick, and Robert left too with that earring hanging from his ear. It's one thing to have an earring, but a dangling earring looks terrible.
Yeah, man. Ugh. I remember around this time, or maybe a couple years later, a lot of people were doing the ear piercing in one ear.
Yeah, but the dangling. I remember seeing this in 1990 in the theaters. And I remember thinking...
I know, I was going to say, but no one got the dangling one.
Okay, yeah. And yeah, the dangling never looked good.
Also, it's dangerous. Like, if you get in a fight with someone and they pull that thing, you do know.
Exactly. All right, we'll finish the scene here, and we'll read a piece of fan mail.
What? Adrian, what'd I do?
Go talk to him.
Even I could have saw this thing happening. I should have went to Miami when I had the chance.
Okay, so we'll stop there because the big discussion's coming up, and we'll save it for the next episode. Whether it's going to be Kyle or not, we don't know. But even Paulie says he saw this coming, so it's a true story.
Okay, did you watch The Simpsons?
I've seen many episodes.
Okay, I guess like not currently because no one watches it currently now. but there's this episode where Barney Gumble, who is of course the alcoholic. There's an episode where like him and Homer are training to be astronauts together, And Barney goes off the booze to do this training. When he's not drinking, he's like this amazing person that is like super smart and athletic and capable.
Right.
And I feel like Paulie's kind of like that. Like if it wasn't for Paulie's alcoholism, he probably would be a very successful, capable person. Because like he's not stupid. He sees this stuff coming from a mile away.
That's good. I like that. It's a great analogy. Okay, so Kyle, we're gonna end it there. It's a great spot to end it. Do have two reviews. So one was on Facebook. The individual didn't quite do it right, but I still appreciate it. He published a comment on my page, on the Rocky Series podcast page, just by saying, I'll show you, it's right here. So I reposted it. I took a screen capture and posted it in the feed. See, if you just like post something on my page, it goes to the side, nobody sees it. He said 5 stars. He says, you'd have to be a sterno bum to not like this podcast. So thank you, Louis Mazzo.
I saw that. I loved that comment.
Yeah. So thank you, Louise, or Louis. How would you pronounce that? Louis?
I think it'd be Louise.
Louise. Okay. Thank you, Louise Mazzo. 5 stars. You gave us 5 stars, and you have to be a sterno bum to not like this podcast. Well, there's a few sterno bums out there, Louise, because not everyone likes my podcast.
They are sterno bums indeed. Thank you, Louise.
And then we got a email here from Patrick Mintel. This is directed to me and Ruben, so Kyle, this is not for you. No. But he says here, just want to let you know that I really love your podcast. Looking forward to episode 124. And he says season 6 because Rocky Balboa is his favorite Rocky film. He says, I've been listening to it for a few weeks, our show, and he got to know us from the Slycast podcast. So a shout out to Craig. So Craig from the Slycast, great guy, great podcast. Totally recommend this. Let me just give a shout out to the Slycast podcast, that if you're listening to my podcast and you don't listen to the Slycast, you're doing yourself a great disservice, because Craig and the guys there on Slycast do a great job covering Sylvester Stallone films. He goes on to say that I've been a Stallone fan since Rocky IV when he was 8. And he doesn't have iTunes, Facebook, or Twitter, which I applaud you for that, Patrick. So he couldn't leave me a review on any of those formats, so he sent me an email. He says, keep up the good work. Greetings from Germany.
Danke.
Danke indeed. And Patrick, thank you so much. So if you want to send an email to the show, the email is gtdwithrr@gmail.com. And please, send us an email or send us a review or message on Facebook.
Accept hate mail too, by the way. I often comment on a lot of the stuff on the fan page. You probably see my Facebook. If you want to send me some hate mail, that's cool.
Yeah, I do tag Kyle in every release that I do of the episodes. So if you want to comment on the episodes that I release on the Facebook page, the Rocky Series Podcast Going the Distance, you can find us on Facebook, like us. Yeah, definitely comment under Kyle's tag there about how he's a terrible podcaster. So,
well, you could say something like, you call yourself a guest host, you're a fake, your comments are fake, go kill yourself.
Yeah. I think this whole podcast has been a big fix, quite frankly.
Yeah. How much did you get to carry this bum?
Wait, am I carrying you or are you carrying me?
I think you're carrying me.
Okay. All right. And lastly, leave us a review on iTunes at the very least, or Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. It helps the feed. Believe it or not, we're still getting downloads and people are checking out the show. So thank you. Thank you for coming on to the show. Oh, yeah, Kyle, did you have anything you wanted to plug there?
Just my financial blog with only 3 blog posts so far.
Please, yeah.
Moreinthejar.wordpress.com. If someone like Rocky Balboa would have followed my blog, he would have known not to sign his affairs over. He would have known that wasn't a tax extension.
There you go.
Just saying.
All right. Kyle, take us out.
Dern.